Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Nathan, and on this video we'll be talking about 8 way too early MLB predictions for the 2023 season. Before we get into today's video, please smash that subscribe button and also turn on that notification bell if you're new to my channel. Chances are if you're watching this video, you really love sports, and also drop a like on this video. The 2022 season for the Detroit Tigers wasn't a memorable one at all, finishing with a record of 66 wins and 96 losses. Under the first 2 seasons with A.J. Hinch as the head coach, they have had a record of 143 wins and 181 losses. Even with a disappointing season last year for the Tigers, now going into year 3 with their head coach and more experience for their younger players should do the Detroit Tigers some good. It will also be their first year under new president of baseball operations Scott Harris, who comes with glowing reviews. Their offense posted the worst WRC plus in the majors, and they score the fewest runs in the league. If the Tigers can add an impact bat or two to the lineup for the upcoming 2023 season, they could potentially be a 500 team next year. The Texas Rangers clearly aren't there yet after having a record of 68 wins and 94 losses on the campaign, but they are serious about taking major steps along the way. That's one of the only ways to explain the money they spent in this past offseason on Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. Their ownership is growing impatient, giving the firing in August of longtime executive John Daniels, with GM and former pitcher Chris Young taking over the top role. To be fair, a 15-35 record in one-run games means the team underperformed its Pythagorean record of 77-85. The Texas Rangers hired Bruce Bochy with the expectations to win now, and we will see what happens next season. Corey Seager and Marcus Semien were more good than great in their first season with the Rangers. Although I guess you can't complain about 59 home runs from your middle infield, especially since Marcus didn't hit his first until the team's 45th game of the season. I wouldn't be surprised if the Texas Rangers could be close or at 500 on the upcoming 2023 season. But this team still needs starting pitching after ranking 25th with an ERA at 4.63. Also, it is reasonable to expect that the Rangers won't have the worst record in one-run games next season. The Chicago Cubs finished the 2022 season in 3rd place in their division, and they are coming off a 74-88 record campaign. They have their deepest farm system since bringing together the talent that won the 2016 World Series. Between the young crop of players and the money to spend, it's not difficult to see a path back to relevance for the Cubs. They still have Marcus Stroman and Kyle Hendricks locked in for the 2023 season, before either or both could become free agents the following offseason. If the Cubs can keep those two and Justin Steele healthy, then get in the market for one of the big-time free agent pitchers this offseason, things could look a lot different in Chicago for the upcoming 2023 season. Their payroll in 2022 was about $63 million less than in 2019. The estimated payroll in the offseason is about $147 million, about $90 million less, with Jason Hayward's $22 million finally coming off the books after 2023. Let's see how aggressive the Cubs get in the offseason, because if they sign some talented free agents in the offseason, and that could decide whether this team could have a winning season or not in 2023. The 2022 season for the Miami Marlins was a disappointment after a couple of major signings in that offseason. Their record in the 2022 season was 69 wins and 93 losses, and that doesn't exactly reflect the talent on this team. Something that their general manager noted when it was revealed that their head coach would not return for the 2023 season. The Marlins' last winning record in a full season came back in 2009, and since 2010 they have had the worst record in the league. Miami has enough of a starting pitching surplus that someone could be on the trade block this offseason, but their offense is the problem, and has been one of the worst offenses in baseball for the last 2 consecutive seasons in a row. If Miami can find some talented players that can drive in runs for the upcoming 2023 season in free agency, they could be a 500 team in the 2023 campaign if things go right for them. The Arizona Diamondbacks won 52 games in 2021 with the worst NL record and tied for the worst record in MLB. A year later in the 2022 season, they improved to 74 wins. And there is a good reason for Diamondback fans to be excited about the future. Arizona went 34-36 in the second half and outscored its opponents. So far in the offseason, the Diamondbacks pulled off a trade with the Seattle Mariners that sent 2020 American League Rookie of the Year award winner Kyle Lewis to them, in exchange for catcher/outfielder Cooper Hummel. This team could be a really fun team to watch next season because of an exciting young outfield, and this group will be chasing down everything in the gaps. Zach Gallen quietly went 12-4 with a 2.54 ERA, including 6 straight scoreless starts, and matched Verlander for the lowest batting average allowed among stars at .186. The Diamondbacks are heading in the right direction, especially if they can find some pitching depth. I wouldn't be surprised if they can find some of that pitching depth, and if they do, they could be a sleeper team that could be a playoff contender next season. The 2022 season for the San Francisco Giants was a disappointing one with a record of 81 wins and 81 losses. That's because one season ago when San Francisco made an unlikely run with a franchise record of 107 wins, before losing in the division series to their division rivals, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Their offense fell from 2nd in the NL in runs to 7th, and their pitching/defense fell from 2nd in runs allowed to 9th. The Giants brought back Jock Peterson on a qualifying offer worth $19.65 million after having his best offensive season last year. The Giants' need to upgrade defensively at just 1 or 2 spots could have a huge impact on the overall effort of one of the worst defensive rosters in their franchise history. They have the money to go after a couple of big pieces, most notably Aaron Judge, who grew up a couple of hours from San Francisco. Of course, their team isn't the best fit, but if he does leave the Yankees, the Giants might be the leading contender to sign him. The Giants' starting rotation is mostly set, but it's going to be really about figuring out roles for position players who may have underperformed last season. And finding some upgrades defensively could help them become a playoff contender again in the 2023 campaign. The Seattle Mariners finally ended their long playoff drought that stretched back to 2001, and Julio Rodriguez emerged as a star at age 21. They beat the Blue Jays in the Wild Card Series and played the Astros tough in the Division Series, despite being swept. For the last 2 seasons in a row, the Mariners have won the same amount of games at 90 in both 2021 and in 2022. Julio Rodriguez was named the American League Rookie of the Year in the 2022 season. The Seattle Mariners made a big trade for Teoscar Hernandez to add another power bat to this Mariners lineup. They got him in a trade with the Toronto Blue Jays in exchange for setup man Eric Swanson and a pitching prospect. The Mariners also traded Kyle Lewis to the Arizona Diamondbacks in exchange for Cooper Hummel. The rest of the offense is still a bit of a question mark, but I have confidence that the Mariners will continue to add to their lineup and further improve their offense. The key to this team is the pitching staff, with Robbie Ray, Luis Castillo, George Kirby, and Logan Gilbert form one of the best rotations in all of baseball. They also boost a deep and talented bullpen that features enough swing and miss stuff to impact a playoff series. The Mariners are in need of a second baseman, and they could sign one of the shortstops and move him to second base. If the Mariners somehow sign some really big free agents like Trey Turner or Aaron Judge, if that happens, Seattle could be a World Series contender in 2023. The Baltimore Orioles have one of the most surprising out-of-nowhere seasons in Major League history, improving from 52 wins in 2021 to 83 in 2022. That was their best season since the 2016 campaign when they went to the playoffs. You have to love where the Baltimore Orioles are heading with their young talent for the future. I do wonder if some of the pitching overachieved this season, especially a bullpen that ranked 9th in ERA, but 21st in strikeout rate. The rotation was also just 21st in the league in ERA, with only Jordan Lyles topping 130 innings last season. Let's hope the Orioles dip into free agency here to help balance out some likely regression next season. But if they can get some help in the free agency market, they could be a potential playoff contender next year. Now my way too early World Series predictions for 2023. My most likely way too early World Series prediction for 2023 is the Yankees versus the Dodgers, with the Dodgers winning that series. But my dark horse World Series team is the Seattle Mariners, and that all depends on who they sign in the offseason. So those are my way too early MLB predictions for the 2023 season. Do you think any of these could become true in the upcoming season? Let me know in the comments down below. Before you leave, please smash that subscribe button and also turn on that notification bell if you're new to my channel. And if you love sports, this is definitely the channel for you. And also share this video with more sports fans. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Nathan and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Just keep loving sports.